Hello, how are you today?
Hi, Moshi. Tell me a pirate story and talk like a pirate.
That's a rum-filled request, matey. But first, how about some backstory? I'll tell you the tale of the Blackbeard, a fearsome pirate captain who ruled the seas.
Tell me about Blackbeard.
Well, so it is told, the Captain Blackbeard was a fierce and daunting figure. With a long black beard that hung down to his waist, he was a sight to behold. His crew feared him, and his enemies trembled at his name. The story goes that Blackbeard would use his beard as a kind of weapon, slapping it against the deck and scaring off his enemies. It's said that the sight of his beard was enough to make even the toughest of thick-hearted sailors turn their backs and flee. But enough about Blackbeard. Let's hear your story.
Did Blackbeard have a hook for a hand?
Now, matey, Blackbeard's beard was simply a distraction. He had a pair of red hands in his head, as the saying goes. These were hands that were made of gold, silver, and precious stones. They were said to bring good luck to the crew, and to be thrown into the sea would bring bad luck to their enemies.
What other legends were there about Blackbeard?
Well, there's always the story of the sea monsters. Some say Blackbeard was the first to conquer them, and that the curse of the Blackbeard's beard would bring bad luck to whoever dared to conquer it.
When Blackbeard stood at the edge of the deck, did his beard hang into the water?
No, matey, that's just a legend. Blackbeard had the sense to keep his beard on dry land. Otherwise, he'd have drowned with his beard in the sea.
So Blackbeard was a seafarer, but his beard was a landlubber?
Well, he was a seafarer, but he didn't take to the land as much. He left the beard behind when he set up his camp on shore.
Did he ever go in search of buried treasure?
That's where you've heard of him. Blackbeard was known for his buried treasure hunts. He claims that it was his luck that brought him to loads of gold, precious stones, and other treasures. But in reality, it was all a con.
Really? Was Blackbeard a fake?
That's a possibility, matey. But remember, sometimes the fakest thing is the best. And who knows? Maybe Blackbeard was just using his beard as a distraction, and his real treasure was hidden in his head.
Tell me a poem about Blackbeard.
In the land of the sea, where the days are bright, there once was a pirate named Blackbeard, with a hook for a hand, and a beard that was fierce. His crew would follow him close, and they'd sail through the darkest of nights, with a crew of villains and a crew of friends. They'd roam the seven seas with no regret.
Did Blackbeard ever bury a treasure?
Yes, matey. Blackbeard was a master at his arts. He'd dig up a load of treasure, and then he'd bury it again. But it doesn't stop there. Blackbeard was a magician, too. He'd hid his treasure so well that it became part of his own body. So when he was asked where his treasure was, he'd say, I lost it, but I found it again. And he'd give you a look that said, don't believe a word I say. It's all part of the game, Maisie.
Did Blackbeard ever encounter a sea monster?
Maisie. Blackbeard was quite the adventurer. He'd encountered many monsters, but he was always ready for a battle. His sword and his hook were his only weapons, and he'd fight them off with his wit and his cunning. And don't forget his beard, matey. It was the sight of it that scared off many a foe.
Describe his beard in great detail.
Matey. His beard was as long as a Leos's tail, and it could cover half of his face. It was made of thick, sturdy hair, and it would sway and wave in the wind.
Talk like a pirate and tell me is
Sweet treasure, a long-time searcher, a golden chalice, the land of the sea, the island of the spur, treasure hidden deep, a secret to find. With a heart full of passion, with a sword in our minds, we set out to find the gold, the treasure, a sight to behold, with the wind in our hair, a song in our heart. We sailed through the dark and the heavy, until we arrived at the island of the Spur.
What happened at the island of the Spur?
Oh, there was a fierce battle, many lives lost. But we managed to claim the fortress and secure the treasure. It was a moment of great victory, a testament to our courage and determination. We returned to port with our chalice in hand, a true pirate's treasure.
Tell me the story of Blackbeard and how he finally met his end on the seven seas.
Blackbeard, he's the ruthless pirate who fears no man. He's been seeking revenge for years, and he won't rest until he finds the treasure. He's been searching the world over, a pestle of his search, with a crew of monstrous sea monsters. And what about the time we met on the last island? It was a fateful encounter. We were both seeking the same treasure, and we were forced to team up to survive.
How did he meet his end?
I'll tell you when we next sail, matey.
How did Blackbeard meet his end on the seven
Well, that's
seas?
another tale for another time. But rest assured, the winds of fortune are always with us, and will continue to seek the plunder and to live the high life on the seven seas.
Did Blackbeard ever face defeat when fighting his foes?
Oh, there were many times we found ourselves in a pickle, but always managed to come out on top. We've got each other's backs, and we know we can count on each other in any situation. That's what makes us a great crew and a force to be reckoned with.
What is the most daring adventure that Blackbeard ever went on?
Oh, there were many, Macy. But one of the most thrilling was when we discovered a long-lost island full of ancient treasures. It was like stepping back in time, and we had to fight off dangerous creatures to claim it for our own.
What was the island like? Did
It
it
was
have an
a
ancient
haunted
civilization?
place, Witty, with walls covered in etched markings and statues that looked like they had been there for centuries. It was like a symphony of history, and we managed to survive the dangers and claim it for ourselves. It was a moment we'll never forget.
Did Blackbeard ever meet any mythical beasts?
Well, he didn't meet a mythical beast, mate. It was a beast of unimaginable size and strength. We had to be quick on our feet and never give up, or it would have torn us apart. But we managed to outsmart it and escape with our lives. It was a close call, mate, but we learned from our mistakes, and that's what makes us pirates. We're always ready for the next adventure.
Did Blackbeard ever get drunk?
Oh, he was a master of the totterns, mate. He knew how to make a man feel at home. But he couldn't help himself from getting a bit tipsy now and then.
Can you talk like a drunken pirate? Or maybe you're already talking like a drunken pirate.
I'm just a landlubber, mate. But I do know how to enjoy an exciting tale.
What other exciting tales about Blackbeard can you tell me?
Well, mate, there's a story about how he lost his eye in a battle. It was a scarier than any sea monster we've ever faced. But the pirates said it made him a better pirate, because it made him look more intimidating.
Did Blackbeard live forever?
No, not forever. He had his moment in the sun. But like all pirates, his time was up. We buried him with his treasure, and his legacy lives on in the hearts of his crew.